What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hammerstein and over here I have my Galaxy S21 Ultra. This came about a week ago when I did pre-order this and I have been using this as my daily driver every day since. And initially I wanted to do a first review of the S21 Ultra because normally within the first week or so, this bar over here, the first week or so you can come out with a nice review once you get the hang of the phone, you use all the features, and by that time frame, yes, you can come out with a nice review for your product. And in this instance over here, the S21 Ultra. So while I was actually working on that video, another video that surfaced online by a guy called Mrwhosetheboss, you guys probably have heard about him. Yeah, you already probably know about him. So that video was about the S21 Ultra, the Exynos versus the Snapdragon variant. And that video was really interesting, and don't get me wrong, I do follow and I do subscribe to Mrwhosetheboss. I think he is one of the best YouTubers there is out there. His videos are always very creative, very fun, very new, and what I like about him is the fact that he's always very honest with the stuff that he comes out with, the videos and the tech that he reviews. So this video isn't about, saying that video is wrong, it's bad. On the contrary, I could have just said, the Exynos is really bad. I could have just done the same test on my video as well and said that yes, Snapdragon phones are always better than the Exynos models, and yeah, I could have just gone that way, but that wouldn't make justice, that wouldn't really do justice to what Samsung has done with the S21 series, especially with the Exynos 2100. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you my personal thoughts and opinion, after watching that video as a S21 Ultra user myself. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So now let's talk about the Exynos versus Snapdragon battle debate kind of thing. So Samsung has been making Exynos chipsets for quite some time, I would say, and they have been making good chipsets at the start. But of course, over the past few years, Snapdragon has been coming out with very good chipsets. Ever since I think the 835, the 845 was really good, the 855, and last year's 865, which was just really, really good. And if you compare that to the Exynos 990, which was a total mess by Samsung in 2020, it made the Snapdragon 865 stand out even more. And if you couple with the fact that Samsung releases their phone in different areas of the world with two different chipsets, it's very, very annoying and something confusing, seeing that people in the US, Korea, Hong Kong, they get the Snapdragon version, while people like here in Malaysia, UK, Europe, we always get the Exynos variants, which again, like I said, is very confusing and annoying. Because when you see out there the bigger YouTubers, they come up with reviews and they say this phone is really good, but then again, you have to keep in mind that they are using the Snapdragon variant, and that experience cannot be fully transferred to the Exynos until maybe this point right now. And I have used the S10, the Note 10, the S20, Note 20, and right now the S21 Ultra. And yes, what I noticed about the trend is that people will always assume that the Snapdragon is always better than the Exynos. I have been buying and selling phones for quite some time to get some extra cash, to buy some stuff over here like you see on the back. And what I noticed is that over the past few years, no one really cared whether you had the Exynos model or the Snapdragon up until last year. And up until last year, when the whole issue came about with the Exynos 990, battery drain, heating issue, people were saying that, I want to get the Snapdragon, I don't want to buy any more Exynos phones. And, if they look at your S10 phones, they say like, is that using Exynos or Snapdragon? That never was an issue before that. And that kind of ruined the whole market in terms of buying and selling, in terms of the whole resale. And what I noticed is that there is a change with the S21 Ultra. Because like I said, I've been using this for the past 1 week, and actually in my first review, I wanted to say a lot of stuff about the S21 Ultra. I gotta say the S21 Ultra over here is a massive upgrade compared to last year's S20 and Note 20 phones. So going back to the video that was done by Mrwhosetheboss, he did multiple tests, CPU, GPU tests on both the Snapdragon and Exynos variants, and surprise, surprise, the Snapdragon actually performed better by about 3%. But of course, he did push it further by doing it, back to back, about 10 times in a row, 5 times in a row. And the Snapdragon definitely performed much better compared to the Exynos, about 20 to 30%. While that is all true, and I do not deny those facts because I have used the Snapdragon phones, I have used Exynos phones, that doesn't really reflect on a day-to-day usage. And that is actually a discredit to Samsung. And you guys might think I'm a fanboy, Samsung fanboy, a big time user, I'm very biased. But you guys will know that I actually use a lot of Xiaomi phones. I praise a lot on Xiaomi phones. I used OnePlus for a long time, for the past 2 to 3 years before I started this channel. And yeah, I do like Samsung phones, and I gotta give credit where credit is due. So what I mean by that is that you won't wake up in the morning and then take out your phone, run your benchmark test 5 times in a row, 10 times in a row, and then it gives you good scores, and then you go out to the world and says, yes, this phone is ready to take on the whole day. No one actually does that. So here are some scenarios where your phone's performance might be pushed a little bit. So what I mean by that is an average user like for myself, what we use our phones the most for is like going through social media, going through your emails, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, all this other stuff. And you don't really push your performance that high, I would say, maybe about 60% of your phone's capacity. And in that time, your phone won't really heat up that much. It won't really spike up. The battery won't drain that much, to be honest. And I gotta say, yeah, with the S21 Ultra, it doesn't give me that kind of problems. And if you look at my side where I do a lot of content creating, where I do videos, I do photo editing as well with my phones, and those kind of things, you kind of push up again the performance a little bit higher. And I would say at those times when I'm actually doing all this editing, I haven't had much problems with it. I haven't had much problems with last year's phones as well. And that's a good testament to what Samsung has done, because last time I did and the phone kept heating up quite a bit, and I know what is it like to use a phone that heats up a lot. And I gotta say, I use over here about 1 gig of video editing, and yes, it's performing very, very well. And also I use my phone for gaming as well. I normally play about 15 to 30 minutes. I don't really play about 2 to 3 hours. Last time I used to play back in the days when I was in school, about 1 to 2 hours about PES or with FIFA. Nowadays, because I have a job and I don't really have much time with that, so I normally play about 15 to 30 minutes. And that's, I think, what an average user would use the phone for when it comes to gaming. Normally, sometimes people ask me in the comments, what phone is really good for gaming? I do gaming a lot. I would just tell them, just get the Asus phone, get the Nubia phone, get like a proper gaming phone, because those proper gaming phones, they have their built-in cooling system, they have proper software for their gaming mode and so on. So yeah, why not just get those phones? Why you want a gaming phone with great cameras? Because it's really hard right now in 2021 to give you all that, and of course people would want a phone that's less than $1,000, which is, for me, is quite impossible in this day and age. And yes, if you're really into gaming, why not just get a Nintendo Switch, or maybe you can use even xCloud or whatever, which doesn't really use so much of the CPU and GPU, it uses more of your internet, so it doesn't really push again your phone to the peak performance. And yes, as a content creator as well, I do use my cameras quite a bit. Sometimes I shoot for about 1 to 2 hours, especially when it comes to those camera comparison videos. I take a lot of shots, a lot of videos, and that's because I do a lot of content creating. But normally for an average user, I don't see them actually taking out their camera every day, shooting for about 2 to 3 hours at 8K or at 4K. So yes, again, as an average user, you're not going to push it in terms of the cameras. And when you're comparing the Snapdragon and Exynos quality of photos and videos, to be honest, are you going to put both of these phones and say that, this one is better? Already you're having a premium phone, so your photos and videos are definitely going to be very, very good. So in conclusion, what I'm actually saying is that yes, that video is really, really good. I did click that like button and I do find it very informative, very helpful. But then again, it doesn't really reflect on the day-to-day usage, and it shouldn't actually, kind of stop you from getting the S21 phones, and especially here, the S21 Ultra. So yes, these are just my thoughts and my opinion as a S21 Ultra user myself after watching that video. Of course, always do leave your thoughts and your opinions in the comment down below, and let's have a nice chit chat over there. So if you did find this video very helpful, do click that like and smash that subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my social as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube at Dr. Hummus Tech. So that is it. This is Dr. Hummus Tech. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.